And the thesis for today, college sports are on fire. And even more so, with college sports being on fire, each college athletics program has to decide what their priorities are because you can't have everything anymore. Prices have gone up on anything you value in college sports. Let me defend. College sports are on fire. I've used this as a metaphor in the past. But Dennis, do you want to have an icebreaker question right here live on air? You want to play a game?
All right, sure.
All right. You're in your house.
All right.
House catches on fire. This is hypothetical. You can only grab 2 or 3 things with the acknowledgement that pets and people are safe, right?
Okay.
You don't have to grab, hey, I'm going to grab my friend who's, over the house or whatever. 2 or 3 things. Actually, we'll go with 2 just to keep it quicker.
Okay.
You grab 2 things. What do you grab?
One thing in each hand?
Yep.
Okay.
You have 30 seconds to get out, so it's what are you grabbing?
30 seconds to get out. I'm probably grabbing my backpack because it has my wallet, my laptop, and all the just kind of essential
very
life
practical,
things.
very
practical life things. And I will probably grab my favorite pair of sneakers.
Yeah, there you go.
That's probably it.
Got to grab the one. That's a question that people ask dinner parties, right? Like icebreakers. College sports are kind of in that, right? Like if you're an athletic director, and we have some quotes here from an article written by Bubba Cunningham, the North Carolina UNC athletic director, it's kind of that right now. Like your program is on fire. There's, you open this door, there's flames of transfer portal. You open that door, there's flames of NIL. You open that door, there's some the name, image, and likeness payout that you're going to have to make that's going to come out of your revenue for the next 10 years. Like everywhere you go, there's bigger, hotter, more engulfing flames, and you have to decide what 2 or 3 things are you grabbing on the way out. If you grab football and basketball, Olympic sports are going to suffer. If you grab traditional college values and spirits and playing for your alma mater, then you will give up winning. You can't have everything. You used to be able to. When labor was free, as soon as somebody stepped on campus, they were essentially handcuffed to your program. When there wasn't 24-hour sports available everywhere, so really the only sport you could watch on a Saturday was the local college team. When all of that wasn't the case, right? When all of these changes didn't happen, you could have everything. You could have a good track and field team, a good wrestling squad, a good football team, a good basketball team, men's and women's, and you could win. Now all of that's being twisted up. There's a great article. You can read it for yourself. There's a lot there. It's on goheels.com. As I said, Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director of UNC, making his opinions felt on the future of the program in the ever-changing college sports world. I'm going to lean on Brian Murphy for some of this, WRAL Sports investigative reporter, because I read the whole article and then I go, I'm the kid, and this has been me my entire life. You get the textbook and you get the highlighter out and you start reading, and then you go back to check over what you highlighted, and you highlighted every sentence.
Yeah,
and you're
it's the whole thing's highlighted. Cool.
I didn't highlight the conclusion. That was it. So I'm like, everything's interesting. Brian Murphy often retweets and kind of pulls out what he thinks is important, and quite frankly, I trust his opinion on that more than I do, more than my own. Brian Murphy tweeted, "Football and men's basketball, only sports at UNC that generate more than they spend. UNC sponsors 28 sports, has won 45 national titles in women's sports." And then he quoted the story from Bubba Cunningham. "Moving forward, that means committing to fair financial arrangements with players while continuing to provide Olympic sport athletes as many opportunities as possible." As possible would scare me if I were a discus thrower. Because saying fair financial arrangements would indicate those that make the money get the money, right? If you're football, if you're men's basketball, if you're bringing in cash, you probably deserve a bigger slice of the pie, which means there's now less slice of the pie going to field hockey, or even though they're winning national championships, or soccer, or lacrosse, or whatever else we're talking about.
I also wonder as well, he did mention, I don't know if you're going to get into roster sizes, but Bubba Cunningham did mention right now they have about 850 athletes. With the NCAA's restriction on roster sizes, they're probably going to go down to about 735.
Mm-hmm. We are going to get to that. So stick a pin in it. We'll come back.
Cool.
You can't compete in every sport because here's the other thing that's coming: revenue share. So what revenue share is expected to be approved in April. Schools are going to be allowed to pay students like from the school, right? So you don't have to tell fans to donate to a collective and then hint to the collective which players you want to give a name, image, and likeness deal. They're going to be able to pay players with the most common reference number, about $20.5 million per year. It's revenue share. That goes to the players.
That's TV deals, ticket sales, concessions, those kinds of things.
There is an expected kind of detail in that approval that 75% can go to one sport. You can't give the whole thing to the football team, can't give the whole thing to the men's basketball team, but you can give 75%. Well, guess what? If another school is giving 75% of that, you're looking at $15 million to the football team, and you want to divide it up evenly so you make sure you don't have a bad softball squad and swimming teams and everything else, you're not going to be able to compete. If you want to win at football, you better give 75% to football because there's a lot of other teams that are going to be giving 75% of that money to football. When the everything around you is on fire, what are you grabbing? Are you grabbing football and men's basketball? There's not going to be room in your arms for anything else. Or very few of anything else, right? I think if you maybe one other sport, right? Like I do think UNC could spend some on field hockey because they value that so much and they win so much. I think LSU and a few others, they have baseball or whatever. Like those are gonna be able to keep those, but if it's not your main deal, it's not your main deal. Another Brian Murphy tweet: among changes, additional advertising, perhaps on uniforms. Potential surcharges, also known as talent fees, on tickets. Total athletes dropping from 850 to 735, as Dennis referenced. Scholarships likely up from 330 full scholarships now. So more of those athletes will be on scholarship, but there will be less athletes overall. When college sports are on fire, are you grabbing the tradition? Are you grabbing walk-ons are awesome? Are you grabbing, I only want players that come here because they love the university? If that's what you think is the secret sauce of your program and that's what you're wrapping your arms up around as you run out of the burning building, you can't have that and success. You can't. College sports could continue to be reasonably priced family outings. They could. Your program could be a reasonably priced way that a family of 6 could spend a Saturday afternoon. But if other teams are turning their games into high-priced entertainment options that have talent fees attached and that money is going straight to the players, that money is going to be the difference. That money is going to be the difference. You want to find winning? Follow the dollars. Maybe not 100% of the time, but a lot of the time. Who was in the World Series this year? Dodgers and Yankees. Are they there every year? No. Are they more likely to be there most years than the Milwaukee Brewers? No disrespect to Milwaukee. I'm just trying to pick a small market team that doesn't have a bunch of money. That is a real deal there. You can't compete with less cash and expect to do that over and over and over and over again. You can get lucky. You can find a way for a time, but to be sustainable, the teams that operate like businesses are going to be better. So you have the option. You can operate as a college athletics program that is all about, the developing young people into adults and only wanting people to play at your university who love your university and wear the colors with pride. Or you can dabble on the other side, which is occasionally we're going to win the best recruit simply by being the highest bidder. They won't even know where our team is. They're just going to the highest bidder, and that guy or that lady's going to help us win. Is it the awesome story you hope for? No. Does it maybe get you a conference championship or a national championship? Yes. Right? So Bubba Cunningham is putting these things out there, I believe, as a, like reading between the lines, an acknowledgement that just so you know, everybody, there's going to be some big changes. There's going to be some things that you don't like. But here's what we are choosing to prioritize. Right? There may be talent fees on your tickets, which may be a bummer. And you may not want to spend more money to see the same game that you've been watching for the last 30 years. But hopefully we'll be able to win because of it. Right? You may love talking trash about the 45 national championships won by women's sports. And we wish we could keep it. But we had to choose. This revenue share money can't be split 100 different ways and expect 100 different people to compete with other sports who aren't splitting it. You could almost think of it like this. You could think of it like, to mix the two segments we've had. We talked about the Carolina Hurricanes at the top of the show. Now we're talking college sports. You could almost look at it as the decisions the Canes had to make from last season to this season in the offseason. Right? They had a salary cap. They had a certain amount of money that they could spend, and they had to decide which players they were going to bring to the next season and which players they weren't going to be able to afford. They gave the extension to Seth Jarvis. They gave $3 million a year to Jordan Martinook. They watched a few other guys leave, the Pesci's, the Sheas, the Gensels, and they didn't make those deals. I think college sports programs are going to have to start making similar decisions. Are we going to spend enough to be a great football team? If we do, what sport are we going to have to let walk? They'll still compete. They'll still be like play games. Won't have as many resources as the teams they're competing against.